Bill O'Reilly here, Thursday, September 17th, 2020. You are listening to the O'Reilly Update. Here's what's happening across our nation. The George Floyd riots, likely the most expensive in American history. Murder rates rising in the USA. Half of New York City's wealthy residents considering leaving the Big Apple. Ratings for the NBA playoffs continue to fall. A new poll finds a majority of young Americans unaware of the Holocaust. Also, coming up, the message of the day. Should 16-year-olds be allowed to vote? But first, nationwide protests following the death of George Floyd are projected to be the most expensive in U.S. history. Insurance estimates place the damage as high as $2 billion in all 50 states. That's 25% higher than the 1992 L.A. riots. At least 20,000 people have been arrested since the unrest began in June. The national homicide rate surging, first half of 2020. Stats released by the FBI show murders nationwide rose by 15%, with some cities spiking more than 25% compared to the same period last year. Incidents of rape actually dropped by 18%, but that's because there are fewer targets because of COVID. People are inside. Researchers from the Manhattan Institute confirm 44% of wealthy New Yorkers could flee the city. The think tank polled 1,000 residents earning more than $100,000 a year. Biggest factors for moving out include COVID, anti-police sentiment, and high taxes. Fewer Americans are watching the National Basketball Association, viewership plunging 32%. This week's face-off between the Boston Celtics and Toronto Raptors was the least watched playoff game since 2004. Said President Trump, quote, "The NBA has become a political organization. That's not a good thing," unquote. A disturbing survey published by NBC News shows nearly two-thirds of millennials are unaware that 6 million Jews were murdered in the Holocaust. More than half the millennials believe the death toll was actually far less. There are currently more than 100,000 survivors of the Holocaust residing in the USA. 61% of them live below the poverty line. Now, a great source of information on the Holocaust is my book, Killing the SS. In a moment, 16-year-olds voting. Is that a good thing? Right back. Hey, you don't need to be an expert to know that consolidating credit card debt into one low fixed rate can save you a ton of money. So start saving today with a credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream. The average credit card interest rate can run more than 19% APR, but Lightstream's fixed rate credit card consolidation loans start at 5.95% APR with auto pay and excellent credit. Get a loan tailored to your needs from $5,000 to $100,000 with absolutely no fees. The application is all online and you get your money as soon as the day that you apply. Save even more with an additional interest rate discount. The only way to get this discount is to go to lightstream.com/bill. lightstream.com/bill. Subject to credit approval, rate includes 0.5% auto pay discount. Terms and conditions apply and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/bill for more information. Time now for the O'Reilly Update message of the day, allowing kids to vote. The 26th Amendment to the Constitution, passed in 1971, prevents states from setting a voting age higher than 18. States, as you may know, oversee votes on Election Day. Right now, 17 states permit 17-year-olds to vote in primaries and caucuses if they will be 18 by Election Day. Those states are Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Maine, Maryland, Mississippi, Nebraska, New Mexico, North Carolina, Ohio, South Carolina, Virginia, Vermont, and West Virginia. In 2013, the city of Tacoma Park, Maryland, became the first place in the country to lower its voting age to 16 for local elections. Now, the city of San Francisco will vote this November as to legalize 16-year-olds to vote in local elections. And that may pass. Here's why. Progressives want younger Americans to vote because overwhelmingly they support progressive causes. It's easy. That's why the left wants mail-in voting. It's the same thing. But 16-year-olds are not qualified to vote because most of them don't know anything. Every survey proves that. We just read about the Holocaust, about people under the age of 35 not knowing anything about it. So 16-year-olds, generally speaking, are uninformed. Now, I know your kid's a genius, so is mine. We're the parents, but it is madness to allow 16-year-olds to vote. Let's take a look at the mail-in voting. Now, this is not absentee voting. Absentee voting is when you can't get to the poll. You're traveling or you're not physical enough to get there. And that's fine. But mail-in voting is when states like Nevada and New Jersey send out ballots to everybody, whether they're asked for or not. And there, the potential for corruption is massive. And we've seen it time after time after time after time. I did a big investigation on BillO'Reilly.com on my newscast, the No Spin News. And we documented problems in New Jersey. New Jersey is chaos. Yet the governor there and the Democratic legislature is sending mail-in votes to everybody. Nevada, same thing. They passed the Nevada mail-in law in the middle of the night. And it will benefit liberal Democrats because in those precincts, there are many bundlers. I don't know of any Republican states or counties that have that. I'm sure they exist, but overwhelmingly, it's the Democrats who want the mail-in ballots. Now, in my opinion, we should all go to the polls unless we're physically unable. It's not a big thing. I know COVID, space it out, okay? Wear gloves, wear a mask, wear a hazmat suit. If you're patriotic, I look forward to going to the polls. I want to sign my name next to the registration. I want to pull the lever. That's my duty. So the mail-in stuff, it's going to lead to problems. Mark my words. I'm Bill O'Reilly, and I approve that message by writing it. Disagree? I want to hear from you. Bill@BillO'Reilly.com. And please consider my new book, bestseller, Killing Crazy Horse. You'll like it. In a moment, something you might not know. Hey, investors seeking steady cash flow, ready to diversify, have you considered a proven real estate investment trust? NRIA has grown to be one of the nation's leading specialists and offers 10% annualized monthly payouts with bonuses targeted at 18 to 21%. That's right, you could receive steady 10% annualized monthly payments with bonuses. As their slogan goes, they specialize in realty investing done right. You can even use your 401k or IRA to invest. NRIA's 14-year track record and $1.2 billion in new construction development backs you. Learn how you can invest in this hard asset real estate cash flow fund today and receive 10% annualized monthly payouts with bonuses. This is something you may want to research and consider. Please call now, 201-210-2727, 201-210-2727, or visit nria.net. Now, the O'Reilly Update brings you something you might not know. Millions of students are back in school after being closed out of the classroom since March. The Department of Ed updating the guidelines for parents, teachers, and the kids, requiring social distancing, mandatory temperature checks, even revised busing schedules to slow the spread of COVID. Most places you have to wear a mask. Each district has its own set of instructions, but all facilities must adhere to restrictions outlined by the Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta. So the results so far have been mostly positive. However, a handful of schools in New Jersey switched to remote learning after staffers tested positive. On Long Island, where I am right now, 2 schools had to shut down because a couple of students got COVID. The biggest district in the USA, New York City, 20 miles away from me, seeing a few problems, but not many. Students are alternating in the city between remote learning and in-class instruction. A teenager on Long Island was actually expelled from his public school when he showed up on the wrong day, but this kid was crusading. He was anti-COVID restriction crusader, but it was an interesting story. In North Carolina, one county accidentally told 7,000 people they tested positive for COVID when they really didn't. The notifications were sent out by text. The schools were shut down in that county for a few days. What a mess. The biggest challenge are the college campuses, as you may know. Clusters of the contagion have been reported at universities in at least 30 states, prompting some schools to abandon classes entirely. Many colleges now require a mandatory 2-week quarantine for all the students living in the dorms. That means you come to campus and you can't go out of the dorm for 2 weeks to see if you are disease-free. Doctors say the biggest factor in contracting COVID are parties. Kids are told to avoid any gathering of more than 5 people. And here's something else you might not know. While the pandemic appears to be slowing down here, Europe is reinstating some lockdowns. Spain and Italy both bringing back the shutdown as cases reach record highs there. France reporting more than 10,000 new infections a day. The UK making it illegal to gather with more than 6 people. Back after this. There are thousands of animals abandoned in the wilderness that need our help. I partnered up with Delta Rescue, the largest no-kill care for life animal sanctuary in the world. Founded by actor Leo Grillo, who left Hollywood to devote his life to saving abandoned animals, Delta Animal Sanctuary is a one-of-a-kind rescue. They are staffed by trained attendants who look after each animal, providing them with water, treats, toys, and affection. Please support Delta Rescue and put your legacy to work. Each life-saving gift helps Delta fulfill their mandate to rescue and care for animals. So please request a free estate planning package at deltarescue.org/bill. For a limited time, you can watch The Rescuer. It's free only at deltarescue.org/bill. The Rescuer is an award-winning documentary about Grillo's 2-year rescue of a family of 21 dogs abandoned in the wilderness. deltarescue.org/bill. Thank you for listening to the O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. No spin, just facts, and always looking out for you.